It's been nearly 17 years since the death of 24-year-old Crystal Saunders. At the Mawi Center in Winnipeg, many gathered around a sacred fire with the sounds of Metis fiddling to honor her and offer supports to her family. Cynthia Roulette is the grandmother to Saunders' cousins and remembers her as playful and bubbly. She says she often relives the day she found out about Saunders' death.
I said, oh my God, like this isn't happening. It can't be happening. Like the little girl that I saw in the coffin wasn't the Crystal that I knew. And I'm sorry I ever went up to the coffin because that isn't what I wanted to remember her as.
In April 2007, Saunders was last seen by a Winnipeg police officer getting into a vehicle on Sargent and Sherbrooke Street in Winnipeg's West End. RCMP found her body the next morning in a ditch near St. Ambrose. DNA was found on Crystal's remains, and due to advancements in technology, that DNA linked to Kevin Q. Last week, Q was charged with second-degree murder for Saunders' death. The news her family waited almost 2 decades to hear.
When I heard it, it was like I could scream. Like, you know, like with happiness, because now we found the closure. The family has the closure. I mean, we were one of the lucky families that got the body and got to bury it. But we never ever thought that we would get or ever find out who the killer was. But now that has come true too, which is wonderful for the family.
Far too often, the Mawi Center has been holding these vigils. The city has been called the epicenter for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in Canada. Kat Patenaude with Manitoba Métis Federation says identifying a woman's nation is crucial to offer supports to families. Previously, Crystal Saunders has been identified as a member of the Saging First Nation. It wasn't until RCMP announced Q's arrest when the community learned she was actually Métis from Winnipeg.
And it's not enough to say somebody's Indigenous. It's great because then we at least know that she's, you know, somewhere within our extended, kinship network. But we need to know, because then we need to be able to not just rally behind the family, but rally behind the community and the communities that are affected by it. So it is a broader issue and a broader matter, and it needs to be addressed. It has to be distinctions based. It has to be that way so that we can provide the culturally appropriate supports that they need.
While the RCMP's work on Saunders' case brings hope to those families that don't have closure, Patenaude says the news reopens old wounds.
I mean, it's resolution to an intensive amount of work by the RCMP, which we thank them for, but it's the beginning of a lot more conversation and a lot more healing.
Tamara Pimentel, APTN National News, Winnipeg.